good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are in the world. Get excited. We are doing another live virtual event celebrating season 11 of Hallmark Channel's hit series, When Calls the Heart. Ben, I am living for your enthusiasm. This is the level 10 that I want you at. Absolutely. I'm Deidre Behar from Entertainment Tonight. And as you can see, today is Gentleman's Day. I am so excited to be joined by four of my favorite human beings on the planet. Please help me say hello to Kavan Smith, Viv Leacock, Chris McNally, and Ben Rosenbaum.
What's up?
Yeah. It's so good to see you guys. When was the last time you four saw each other?
Well, we never see each other. We don't like each other.
What day did we wrap episode
On
12?
purpose?
Yeah, exactly.
I saw Ben a couple weekends ago. I went down to see the premiere and hung out with those guys. And then I saw Chris for a coffee not too long ago. And Viv, ever since I started calling him Vivels, won't return my calls.
It's very true. I'm all about it. I can't let too many people know that that's fine with me, so I just don't respond. I leave
You keep it cool.
I keep it cool.
I'm glad that even though obviously you wrapped season 11 some time ago, the vibes, the friendships are stronger than ever. And I have to tell you, I think I speak on behalf of Hearties everywhere when I tell you season 11 is so good. It is so good. You give me the juice, you give me the drama, you give me the romance. And naturally, I have a lot of burning questions. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. I guess to catch everybody up, we're about halfway through season 11. Lucas is back in Hope Valley. He's getting stronger by the day. Mike running the Queen of Hearts. Lee, now the owner of the Queen of Hearts and the acting mayor. And then Joseph doing what he does, keeping everyone grounded.
Yes.
So I think I want to kick this off by asking about this big Hope Valley resort. Kind of like a really big, daunting project that I know is exciting, but there are a lot of roadblocks along the way. So let's start with Chris. I know that your character, Lucas, is sort of spearheading this. Why is it so important to him that this become a reality?
Well, I think for Lucas, he sees the landscape, the economical landscape changing. And so his main priority right now is preserving Hope Valley into the future for future generations. So he feels like this is the best way to go about doing it, by creating these public coffers and basically having the resort built by, another party, and then the government and the builder splitting the profits, but everything that the government's half all goes into these public coffers. So it's going to supply funds for the territory, and then it's also going to provide an abundance of jobs and boost all the businesses in town, so that not only our generation, the characters we know, can continue to thrive, but our kids can, and so forth.
Wow, you sound like a real politician.
Yeah, seriously. All my answers are gonna suck.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I watch When Calls the Heart to decompress from real life. I feel like you just gave me Econ 101. You just gave me a business plan.
Yeah,
and I know, obviously, Chris, with your character, Lucas, he's got a full team of support behind him. Kavan and Ben, both of your characters, really fighting the good fight, trying to make matters, take matters into their own hands. But Ben, your sister is putting up a series of challenges. Let's call it.
Oh yeah.
How has it been seeing your characters really supportive of one another in this season? And are we gonna get through those challenges with Maisie to get to the other side?
Well, the support is one of the things I love most about the show, on and off screen, working together with these guys. And so that's going to continue. We're going to be there for each other, even when we've got some questions ourselves about the value of the resort versus, I run a saloon and a hotel. Do I want the competition? But I'm there for Lucas. I'm going to be there for him regardless. And then, a little Mayor Hickam versus Mayor Hickam didn't work out so well. So we got to bring in a ringer. Finally get the third candidate from the original mayoral election into office.
Never too late. Third best is
exactly.
I really backed my way in there.
So we got Lee coming in to pinch hit, and yeah, I think with the strength of Lee, anything can be accomplished.
Anything.
Kavan, what do you make of this moment finally happening for your character?
Well, obviously it's taken a while. I feel like he's a bit of a loser. I mean, how many times he has to try to be mayor and then it just has to be given to him on a whim? But I guess better late than never. And
right.
I mean, Lee's always really wanted this job, and I think that maybe his pride's a little hurt the way it came about. But I think given the opportunity, he's going to try and do his best. And I echo what Ben said about these guys getting to work together. The one thing I like about being more involved in the saloon is that I'm kind of at the nexus now of everybody's lives. It's a good place to get to be involved in more storylines. So that part's pretty exciting. And we'll see what happens.
Viv, your character Joseph is not directly involved in these negotiations, but because he is such a great sounding board and such a man of wisdom, what do you think Joseph's advice would be on merging the towns? What do you think he would tell Lee and Hickam in this instance?
Yeah, Joseph is definitely a person that kind of knows what everybody's inner monologue might be about, about what they think personally about stuff going forward. If he is that person that they're conferring with, I would say for Hickam, it's definitely important with negotiations that he not like. There's a sibling dynamic that is kind of echoed in Joseph's story as well. So
yeah, a little something about sibling dynamics.
yeah.
We'll get
So
there.
I think that'd be something that Hickam and Joseph were talking about quite a bit, just as far as how to make things run smoothly. But given that Joseph does spend a lot of time, in both towns, I think he'll be instrumental in making sure that everything runs smoothly anyway. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Fingers crossed. Minimal.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
Is Joseph in both towns?
He's in both towns.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you guys know that?
I just kind of assume that he lends his pastoral gifts to any town.
Remember
this is why I stepped back from working with you, brother. That's why.
Oh,
yeah, right. Because I need.
Remember that really handsome thief who came to town and stuck around for a little bit?
Yeah.
And then it's because his town was falling apart and we're disappearing and needed a pastor.
Yep, I need to go and make sure that this is all, everybody's working in harmony. That's what.
Let me tell you guys this much. It's all coming. When you get to my age, I barely remembered we had this podcast today. So expecting me to remember something that happened 6 months ago is almost impossible.
Listen,
I'm with you, bro.
I'll defend you, Kavan. This is a show with a lot of people, a lot of storylines. And I love very quickly that this live has turned into an econ lesson. And it's turned into a When Calls the Heart retrospective. Thanks to Ben. Okay, so fingers crossed that this resort does come to fruition. I guess we just got to keep watching season 11 to find out.
Yep.
I want to sort of now dive into all of your juicy, meaty storylines this season because I feel like we're in the thick of things. So, Ben, let's start with you. I got to tell you, the chemistry between your character and Amanda Wong's character, Mei Su, has just been so fun to watch. I feel like they're such a wonderful complement to one another. What can you tell us about the pace at which they're moving? Is this a couple that you think when you know, and we're moving quickly, or are they kind of taking things at their own speed?
Well, we started the season 5 months in to our relationship, and I think Hickam had his foot fully on the gas. But to abuse the metaphor, May was pulling the emergency brake. And then we've sort of found our way onto the same page, and there's no turning back, I don't think. I think we're just racing ahead.
Oh, racing ahead with that in mind.
These characters are just cruising. Nathan is over there talking about his lady potential love's ex's ex and ruining moments that could be warm and fuzzy. It was fully moving forward.
Love it. Love the directness. Love that. No games here. No surprises.
Man of action.
I like that you say that they're kind of like full steam ahead. What does that mean for the remainder of the season? Could we see a possible? I'm not looking for a crash and burn. Okay, we always have like a successful race to the finish line.
Well, I mean, we're all familiar with the Hickoms now. I'm expecting probably like 11 kids by the end of the season.
Yeah.
So for anyone who's optimistic that there, I don't know, might be a ring, a wedding, some sort of formalizing of this relationship, what's your message?
We know that the course of true love never did run smooth. So I would say Hickam will find a way to get past any troubles that come up, we hope. But, you know, as Mei so astutely pointed out when Hickam suggested a hot air balloon ride, he would probably end up in a full body cast. So you never know. It's got to be, I want to say it's all going to go smoothly and it's all going to be great right up until the end, but there are going to be bumps along the road, I think.
You'll find a way to find a way.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask Viv, Kevin, Chris, any advice that you think your characters would want to impart on the Hickam character at this point so he can have that happily ever after?
Well, Lucas knows how to operate a hot air balloon, so definitely help.
Yes, he does.
I did think of you and Aaron in that scene. That was very magical.
Yeah, he might say, "Stay away from the hot air balloon." I don't know. He might say that. I don't know what Lucas might say.
What kind of advice would Lee impart?
Kavan and I actually got to do a really lovely scene where Lee does impart some great advice to Mike. Outside the saloon, we're sitting in the...
They didn't want to shoot that one, remember?
Yeah. Well, it was at the end of the day. We weren't sure if we were going to get it. We finally got to do it. And it was a really lovely scene to shoot. I don't, I haven't seen if it ends up in the final edit, but it was a really fun one to shoot. And Lee was imparting great advice throughout the scene. So
what was the advice? What was the advice?
Well, now that you're asking me to quote it,
well, that makes two of us. I don't remember it either.
Hickam is showing up with concerns and worries about where he and Mei are and how to move forward. And Lee, always sage and wise, essentially tells him, "Relax. It'll be fine.
You got it."
Thinks.
Yeah.
All right. Lee calming the nerves a little bit.
Yes, calming the nerves and telling Hickam to trust in his heart.
And keep the faith. That's what I think Joseph was. Just keep your faith. You'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Viv, that's a great transition. I want to go to you next.
Okay.
I think we're always faithful that family will always find its way back to one another. But as we've seen, the little glimpses we've seen so far, it seems like Joseph and his brother Jacob do have a very fractured relationship. And I love that the kids have the best of intentions, but ultimately that feels like it's getting a little sticky. What can you tell me about this storyline? Is Joseph going to open his door to his brother to reconcile?
As a point of how the Canfield family operates, the house is always open. That is something that was that's a house rule. How everything goes beyond where it is now is gonna be determined upon like there's pride and ego involved in a lot of the reason why this rift has happened, and it's going to take a lot of counsel on both sides for that to actually get resolved. So it's Minnie has a lot to do with how this all gets sorted out.
As she always does.
As she always does.
Deidre, do you mind if I jump in with a question for Viv that just occurred to me? Was it? I think of Joseph as being a character who just kind of always has it together, always knows what to do for the most part. was it interesting to get to play a storyline where you maybe you're in the wrong, maybe you're in the right, you don't really know what, maybe he's a bit flawed in this moment?
Yeah, that's a good question, because on the day where I react to getting the letter and he's kind of looking forward to my apology, and I the kids have written this and I know that I haven't, and I just basically think my brother's he's insane now on top of being wrong. I get really angry, and that's the first time that Joseph has really gotten angry, and it was like, oh wait a minute, I have to hang on, I gotta dig deep for this. It was he's always kind of above all that in terms of how when you see him, but then this moment it was he got taken away with the emotion, and yeah, it was fun to play. It was like you don't get to see that side of the character. So very good.
Ben, that wasn't.
I have a question for Viv too.
Oh no!
How come you don't want to hang out with me anymore?
No, because you're got Goldie now, and you're always running around changing diapers, and we gotta go. We gotta go hang out again. Leah and Joseph have to hang out again. Come on, man.
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah. I'm remembering, Viv, when I was fortunate enough to come visit you all on set last summer. I was there the episode that your brother comes to town.
Yes.
So I understand this is a buddy of yours in real life. Was this a casting suggestion that you made?
Yes, it was. So in my household, my friend that comes on to play Jacob, his name is Doran Bell. He is Uncle Doran in my house, because he's been around the kids ever since they were born. We've been friends for 25, 26 years. And, he's just a solid guy, really, really good dude. And it was so cool to get to work beside him and work with him in this project. He lights it up. He's amazing. I was just following him in the scenes that we're in. I don't know if we can say this yet, but the scenes that we get to do, I'm just following him, man. He kills it.
See, Viv likes to do as little acting as possible, so he gets his real kids, and he gets basically his kid's real uncle.
Yeah.
To come in, and it's just as so he just shows up, and it's all like real life.
Yeah, I convinced McNally to move real close to me so that we can it's all like on the show. That's the goal. That's the goal.
I call out to Joseph when I walk by.
Exactly.
Joseph!
Yep. Lucas! Oh yeah, every day. Walk by with little baby. It's amazing.
Family on set and family off. Viv, I got to tell you, kind of echoing what Ben said earlier, you are always so sweet and level-headed and even-keeled on the show. If you and your friend are going to go a little head-to-head, I am very excited to see what's to come in the upcoming episodes.
It's very cool. It's very cool.
Kevin, I want to pivot to you now.
Great.
I don't know how my guy Lee does it. I mean, loving father, loving husband, serial entrepreneur. Now he's the acting mayor, running the newspaper. I mean, the list kind of feels endless at this point. What do you think is the driving factor behind this one sweet man taking on so much all at once?
No, it's really interesting. I suppose every year at the end of the season, Kavan, complain that I want to be more involved. So they just give me another job every year. So that's their way of placating me, which is fine. But going back several seasons now, we started with this whole thing of Lee wanting to find some sort of a calling, and it just turns out that they're all his callings. Everything is a Lee calling.
Yeah.
Well, Kavan, you know what they say. When calls the heart.
Oh, you see what he did there? Wow.
I saw what he did there.
Dang.
I saw what he did. No, I just think that it's been an interesting season, and I think there's a lot. I wonder what happened to some of the old jobs, like what happened to the mill. We talked about it from time to time, but Joseph and I used to run the mill. Michael and I used to run the mill. Apparently, at some time, Chris and I will run the mill. But
for now, it runs itself.
Yeah,
I guess it just runs itself. But I what it does is it sets up these opportunities, I think, for comedy with Rosemary, where we're each kind of running ragged and doing a million different things, and also when you have one of the things we've always liked to do and prided ourselves on is being comedic, but then having these moments where it's heartfelt and real. And I think being spread thin like that and so close to exhaustion and exasperation, but they're still there for each other in the final analysis. There's a lot of little things to mine there, and it's sort of right up our alley for what we like to do. So it's been great. It was a good season for that stuff. And I get to work with all these guys. Viv, not so much, because he told them. He said something about not wanting to work with me. But these two here, I got to work with quite a bit this season, and we had a blast. I haven't worked with Chris in a long time. We got to do good scenes, and then I haven't been with Ben in a long time, and we got to do a bunch of scenes.
It was great to be reunited with Kavan. You know, it's been many seasons since we worked together in the show and had those opportunities to have a bunch of scenes together. It's really fun to share the saloon space and be in those negotiations. I wanted to pay Kavan a quick compliment on the scene that you had in episode 4 with Pascal, where you're telling her about Jeanette when she comes to town, and refer to her as she could be a screen siren, and Pascal's reaction, like that whole scene. It was so funny. It was so funny. It was like exactly what you just described about your two dynamics, where it's like there are layers to it, and it was one of my favorites. It was so fun.
Oh, thank you for saying. I haven't got a chance to see it yet, but we improv that whole thing. Like it started as one little thing, and then we just kept talking.
Well, that must be it. It's because it really felt like it felt like both of your senses of humor came through, and really was it was really fun.
Oh, thank you. Do you guys have anything nice you want to say to me?
I'm just surprised you remembered that scene.
I didn't. I just made that
up. Set yourself up there, brother.
When you say improv that whole scene, do you really mean there were no words on the paper?
No, I do remember it, and we basically it set itself up quite simply, but one of the things they tend to do for us sometimes is give us a template. It's just like, here are some broad brushstrokes. We know you guys are going to fill it in with the things that make you really Lee and Rosie. So we sat down, we each had a couple ideas. And then sometimes when she would throw an idea or I'd throw an idea, it elicits a response, and then that's another response. And then the whole thing about you're the only, diva of the town or whatever it was. And it just kind of took on a life of its own. And the crew and the cast, the crew and the director were just sort of sitting there smiling, and no one told us to stop. So we just kept going.
I love it. You're the Curb Your Enthusiasm of the Hallmark Channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mean the older little Jewish guy? Yeah, that's me.
I feel like the writers, something that they do so nicely for us on this show, especially as we are now in our 11th season, is that they give us these great storylines, they give us these great scripts, but they also give us a little leeway to, as Kavan said, like, we know these characters so well, they trust us to infuse it with a bit of the character. So there are times when we get a little room to ad lib and improv, and it's really, I think it does keep it really fun.
Agreed.
Well, not to go too far off on a tangent, because Chris, I got to get to your questions, but
no, it's fine.
I love that you just shared that. I love the behind the scenes nuggets of how a show gets made. Can all of you remember a moment that we've seen maybe so far in season 11 that was not written on the page, but because you're you and you live in this character's head, you got to give that little gift and do that on camera?
There was some stuff with Goldie, with the girl that plays our daughter, and sometimes when you have a little baby, they are challenging to work with. You don't know what they're going to do, and you can't really write for them. You just got to kind of write them in and hope they give you something. Yeah. But she's such a doll, and she's so cute, and a lot of the things that she was doing were just completely her own. And when she would give you a minute or two where she'd be focused and looking at you, she was doing really sweet things. They're just like did we do the Easter egg one yet? Has that aired? Can I talk about that? I can't. Okay, yeah. So we do this thing in front of the barber shop, and we've hidden these eggs all over the place. And it was her first day where she was not teething and she wanted to hang. So she was just doing these things, and she walked over and grabbed the egg, and then she turns and looks at Pascal and just waddles back over to her and extends the egg up in the air. And it's her favorite thing to do. She just grabs anything off the ground and hands it to people. That's her jam. So it was really fun to watch those little moments. So for her, it's all just made up. She's not doing scripted work. So that was really sweet.
I love that. That's so cute, especially working with the kids. It's a dice roll. You don't know what you're going to get probably in that moment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Viv, anything stand out?
Yeah. Anytime I work with Martin, I'm not. No, it's like in a
I'm not sure what you're gonna say.
You just don't know. You just don't know.
In such a good way, you don't know what's going to happen. And I'm telling you, man, I can get caught up just looking at Martin like do anything because he's one of the most interesting guys on the planet. Like seriously, so much life experience there. So, when Joseph is being a sounding board for Henry, and I'm watching Martin do his thing, I'm like, oh yeah, I should act now. Like I just get caught up like watching this dude. And I think we always have just little things that can just pop up. I mean, but it's like that working with everybody on this cast. Everybody can just kind of do their thing, and you just all you want to do is just be a good scene partner for the person you're working with. So it's like when Cav and I got to do our thing, man, like we were always going to find something. There was always going to be some little moment where we did something, and we knew it. That's the whole thing. You walk in and oh, I know he's going to do something, and he knows I'm going to do something, and we're going to find some other thing that they didn't write, but they, like Ben said, they entrust us to come with. So for that's a privilege too. As actors, you don't always get that situation. So
you guys keep each other on your toes.
Yeah.
Chris, I feel like I remember one for you, if my memory serves me correctly. Little Jack calling Lucas buddy, and then the inverse of that. Wasn't that sort of like a Chris and Highland thing that made it onto the show?
I don't remember the impetus of that. I feel like it had something to do with Peter DeLuise, and Peter DeLuise used to call his grandpa buddy or something like that. It's foggy now. But there was a reason of how it came to be. I just can't quite remember exactly, but I do think Peter was involved. But my recollection is also about. Look at me! I'm just waving around
What is that?
It's for honey. It was on the couch.
Yeah. Listen. I'll join you.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's nice. Is that for your lattes or something?
Yeah, it's for frothing. Yes.
Yeah, very nice.
What you got there, Kev? What's that?
This is cicada.
Oh.
Now I feel like I gotta find something.
You gotta find something, Ben. Find something quick, man.
Prop.
Don't be a loser that doesn't have something.
All right, let's go.
There you go.
How about a Lego set of
we just go to Hogwarts?
Yeah, how about that?
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay. Ben gets the geek award.
I also use this to stir my honey into my tea.
And so you should.
Oh man.
Wow, that was really impressive. Okay, sorry, Chris. Back to you.
Impressive.
Okay, so mine's about Martin, and it's not about last season. It's this season. I think it was season 10. But there's a scene, and I'm probably going to butcher the story because I'm not great at telling stories, as anyone who knows me well knows. But so it was between Jamie and Martin's character, and is when Jamie's like pestering Gowan, and Gowan's sitting at the bar, and there's the whole thing with the trial, and it's looking like he's going to jail, and so the comedy in the scene was that the kid keeps asking him, like, hey, what's your name? Like, do you live here? Like, what do you do for it? Blah blah blah, whatever he's saying, and getting more and more agitated. And then there was a section where he says, he goes, oh, I'm not going to live here for much longer or something. He goes, oh, where are you going? And Martin's character had this like fairly substantial monologue, not a huge thing, but like it was a decent amount of explaining, I'm going away, I got to do the blah blah blah,
right,
blah blah blah, and Martin's just like, I'm not saying that. And he goes, what are you gonna say when he asks you where you going? And Martin just says, prison. And it was so perfect. And I remember that very clearly.
To be fair, anytime you do a scene with Martin and he looks at his lines, he says, "I'm not saying that."
That is true.
Yeah.
Although I think that applies to almost all of us. Listen, 11 seasons in, even, you know, Kavan and Chris, or sorry, Viv and Chris coming in a little later. I mean, I feel like you guys embody these characters wholeheartedly and fully. No one knows their mannerisms or what they would say in that moment more than you. So thank you for sharing all of that. I love those fun behind the scenes tidbits. Chris, it is your time. I do have to come to you with a few questions. When you and I spoke on set over the summer, you did such a great job teasing that someone from Lucas's past was going to show up in season 11 in a very big way. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you did such a great job teasing that, because holy Jeanette, I did not expect this, I don't know, tornado of a woman to come through and really ruffle feathers and even get up in Elizabeth's business. Like, there's a lot going on there. So, of course, she made her bid. I'm curious, have we seen the last of Jeanette?
Well, I would say that you have not seen the last of Jeanette. Jeanette seems to have a way of coming in at inopportune times, which I think she thrives on. But no, we have not seen the last of her. There will be there's more to come, and I'm excited actually for the Hardys to see what happens and where that goes.
Okay, so are you telling me that the drama will only continue to escalate?
I'd say we're at about 40%.
Yeah.
All right. All right. She was really, really something. And I hope she leaves poor Elizabeth out of this. I think Elizabeth and Lucas have gotten to such a lovely place. I really enjoyed the final scene of episode 5, where your character stops Aaron's character and says, "Can you do me a favor? Like, if you have an opportunity to be happy, like you have my blessing, I really want you to go forward and pursue that."
Yeah.
I've told you this before. Lucas is built different. Most of the men that I know would not have that sort of grace.
Yeah.
So talk to me about Lucas's mindset. He is, you know, trying to recover a broken heart. He is trying to recover a broken body. He's trying to remember who broke his body. And he's also trying to run the town or the state. So tell me about balancing so much all at once.
Well, that was really fun to play, actually. I quite enjoyed that. And this season, for me, was particularly interesting because you get to see the cracks in Lucas, because he is handling so much and it's more than he can bear. And he does start to break down in ways that we haven't seen from Lucas before. And I feel that that'll be fun for Hardys to see. It might upset some Hardys. It might not, because he is a very understanding, compassionate man. But when you put enough weight on somebody's shoulders, you know, everyone has a tipping point. So we see the pressure cooker side of Lucas as the season progresses.
What is Lucas's tipping point?
Well, some of it has to do with Lee and Rosemary.
What did we do?
He doesn't remember.
Joseph knows. He told Joseph. I know.
Yeah.
Okay. What is that? How are Lee and Rosemary involved?
Well, so Lucas is incredibly focused on this resort, right? Because he feels like this, as I mentioned earlier, this is the best path to solidify Hope Valley's future. Because we saw last season how it was almost right up with the water. There are other examples that aren't coming to mind, but I feel like Hope Valley's existence has been threatened several times. And this is an opportunity for Lucas to make sure that it can maintain its integrity and stay essentially in existence into the future. So, but not everybody agrees with Lucas on what the best way to go about this is. And that's sort of, I think, where things start to crumble for him, is he's trying to do what he thinks is best. And other people have different opinions. And so once friends start expressing those opinions, and things can get heated and start to crumble and crack, and then add on everything with our friend Jeanette that she brings to town. And yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but it's coming. It's like a big snowball, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And yeah.
I love the Lucas character so much. And I know millions of people who watch this show feel the same way. I feel like there's a lot on his plate right now. I mean, can you at least give us some hope? Like, will he get to to a happier, better place by the end of the season?
Well, it's always darkest before the dawn, right? You got to go through the tunnel of fun.
Ready with that line.
Going out the dark night.
Ready.
I like it.
Oh.
I figure you guys worked that one out beforehand.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a rare occasion where I just said the right thing off the whim.
That was really good.
That was really good.
All right, this is going to be my conductor mechanism. Before we wrap up, I would love to play a quick rapid fire game with the four of you. Since this is season 11, I want to put 11 seconds on the clock, and I'm hoping that you can condense into those 11 seconds why we should tune in to episode 6 of When Calls the Heart, airing this Sunday.
Specifically episode 6?
Well, I know.
Good luck, Kevin.
I don't remember what happened.
How about the remainder of the season?
Okay, that's easier.
better.
That's easier.
Okay, Kevin, I'm going to put you on the spot. You're going first.
Just hold on. Let's get something straight first. I've done this before, and you made it seem like whatever I did last time sucked. So I just need a second to prepare myself. So
I never said that.
He's
these
nervous.
like bullet points, or do you want something poetic? Or...
Whatever you want, whatever feels natural in the scope of 11 seconds.
Just don't suck.
Exactly. Make Pascal Hutton proud.
There you go.
Oh
Okay.
God, nothing's gonna do that.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, tune in for mystery, intrigue, love, romance, friendship, family, community, and me. It's the little show that could, and we're still doing it.
Wow. Wow.
Done. Loved that. That was beautiful.
Wow.
Wait, so is this supposed to be
Did it
like
make
a?
sense?
That was good.
It
I
did.
thought it was great.
That was like a pitch.
No, it's whatever you want it to be. You have 11
Okay.
seconds to just indulge the Hardys. Tell them why they should continue to stay on this ride.
Got it.
You could brush your hair for 11 seconds.
You could. Bro,
Hardys,
you could.
watching
Damn.
this, you need
Don't
to
tune
take
in.
that moment. It needs to be a gift, please. With that, Chris, you're up next.
Do
In
it.
3, 2, 1.
I'm going to talk about episode 6 specifically. I think that people want to tune in because there's a really great storyline involving Elizabeth and someone else that pertains to social sort of gender equality situations we see today.
Well done. I like the route you took. I like the route you took there.
Didn't explain that the best way I could, but you know, it is what
That
it
was
is.
amazing.
Gender equality was what I heard.
Yeah, well, there is a joke, but that wasn't the. It's more than that. It's but anyway, tune in and find out.
Well, that's interesting. Okay, great. All right, Ben, I'm coming to you.
Okay.
And 3, 2.
Okay. Love, drama, comedy, intrigue, great Chinese food.
Are we making Chinese food?
Oh, that's
No,
so
I can't say
good.
more than that. My 11 seconds are up.
Okay.
I did.
Very, very good. Very
Maybe
good.
Dave's family gets involved. I love that.
Hold on
Okay.
just a sec. Viv, did you just say very good?
I did. I did. I did. Because he's sprinkled in stuff for every. Yeah, no, he's on point. He's on point.
The trouble
enough,
for
fair
me
enough.
was that you said everything I was planning to say, so then I was
Yes. I actually reached out to people we know, and I got your notes. So I just
I saw that. I was like, he got help with that. Smart. So smart. God.
All right, Mr. Leacock.
Wow.
You're next in 3, 2, 1.
Hardys, you're going to want to tune in because we're going to continue this ride where it's always family over everything.
Oh
He
man.
did it. And he did it in 9 seconds.
So much time to spare.
Exactly.
Love
you could have
it.
used that extra time.
If I had hair like Chris's, I would have done something with it.
Yeah.
Leave
Yeah,
them
Chris, you
wanting
gotta
more.
indulge us. Will you show us this hair?
Yeah, look. Ooh.
Whoa.
Come on, man.
Goodness.
Yeah, look, it was.
Hey, Viv, do you remember Stampede Wrestling? Do you remember
Yes, I
Stampede
do.
Wrestling? Do you remember the character, the Cuban Assassin?
No,
That's
That-
the Cuban
That's the
Assassin.
Cuban assassin.
It is.
Wow.
Okay, Viv, your turn. To give us a little shake.
Nothing here.
Yes. Real quick, Chris, is this for a role? Is this just you in the off season?
This is for life. I've been trying to grow my hair out for. Well, I used to be down here, and I cut it. Well, I don't know how long ago, maybe 10 years ago, a long time ago, and I've been trying to get it back ever since. And it's a very slow path because every time I get a job, they cut it back and cut it back and cut it back. And last season on One Calls the Heart, I said, look, he's governor, you know, like let's do a little bit of a different look now. My hair was a little longer, and they said, yeah, we like that. And
yeah,
then
politicians famously get longer hair.
Yes.
they do.
Relax
Yeah.
over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the real world, it always gets grayer and whiter, but in Hope Valley, it just gets more. Yeah, and I just haven't cut it, so we'll see what happens in the future. But
It's like Legends of the Fall up in here. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And listen, if Kevin McGarry can convince producers to include a mustache,
I don't know that he convinced anyone. I think he just.
Yeah, that mustache.
He just shows up.
Yeah,
He just shows up.
nobody approved that mustache at all.
yeah, better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission.
Yeah, that
He does pull it off well, though. It actually looks good on him.
I
Yeah,
thought it was
I
great.
gotta say,
I
I
was a
approve
fan.
that mustache.
I do too.
yeah, he's got a little Burt Reynolds thing going on. It was good.
I think that's a perfect note to end on. I want to thank Kavan, Viv, Chris, and Ben for all the giggles. Truly, my face hurts from giggling so much. And Hardee's, you know what to do. You got to tune in this Sunday, 9 p.m., 8 Central on Hallmark Channel. When Calls the Heart, streaming the next day on Hallmark Movies Now. And tweet along with us, hashtag Hardee's every single Sunday. It is a party. Anything you want to say to conclude all this, guys?
Just thank you, Deidre.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is fun. Come on.
Thanks,
thank
Dee.
you, Hardee's.
Yes.
Yes. And
Love
thank
you
you.
guys.
Hardee's. Tune in. Keep tuning in so we can keep doing this.
Yes, please. Like that.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Good to see you all.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye.